Welcome to episode 5 of Book Nerd Paradise, where we get to know an author as they tell us one of their favorite quotes, read from their work, pose a trivia question, and give away a book or two. I'm LRW Lee, author of the Andy Smithson Epic Fantasy Adventure series. This is book 1 of the series. The ebook is free for download on Amazon, so please get yourself a copy. Today, we welcome fantasy and sci-fi author Kirstin Pulioff as our guest. Kirstin is the author of the award-winning Princess Madeline fantasy trilogy for middle graders, as well as 2 short stories. But very exciting, she's releasing her first YA contemporary fantasy, Dreamscape Saving Alex, May 1st. And today, we get the first sneak peek. Kirstin describes herself as a storyteller at heart. Born and raised in Southern California, she moved to the Pacific Northwest to follow her dreams and graduated from Oregon State University with a degree in forest management. Happily married and a mother of 2, she lives in the foothills of Colorado. When she's not writing an adventure, she's busy living one. Welcome, Kirstin.
Thanks for having me today.
Great to see you. So, Kirstin, what will you be giving away to our listeners?
Today, I am excited to be giving away an advanced copy of my new young adult book, Dreamscape Saving Alex.
Excellent. Can you give us a brief synopsis of that?
In Dreamscape Saving Alex, it's being described by early reviewers as a mesh-up between Wreck-It Ralph and 16 Candles, or kind of taking Tron into the fantasy world. Paris is transported into her video game. 16-year-old Alexis Stone is used to getting away from life's frustration with Dreamscape, a video game she's loved since childhood. As her family prepares to move, a sleepy night of gaming pulls her into the world like never before. Trapped in Dreamscape's realm, Alex is about to learn that being a hero has consequences. And this time, the stakes are deadly. Will helping the rebellion cost her everything she knows and loves, or will she betray them to save her own life?
Okay, that sounds pretty engaging, if you ask me. So to enter to win, make sure that you leave a short comment about the episode on YouTube before you leave. That's all it takes. It's really simple. But just bear in mind, liking the episode is not going to enter you to win. Make sure you leave a short comment on YouTube. Then to help our listeners get to know you a little bit, you've selected a favorite quote. What is it and why is it a favorite?
And I have to say, this was the hardest part about the interview today because I live by my motivational quotes. Every day I've got them set on my alarm clock and, to hit throughout the day. So awesome. It took a while to find my favorite, but it came down to Albert Einstein. And it says, "The most beautiful thing we can experience is the mysterious. It is the source of all true art and science." And this just reminds me not to focus so much on the facts or what I've learned in school, but rather to pursue my own curiosities and make my own discoveries and just unleash my own imagination.
Yeah, I get that. That's cool. I like the fact that you have these around the house and you're looking at all these quotes all the time. That's awesome. Inspiration is always needed, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so now the sneak peek I promised. Kirstin will be reading from her not yet released YA contemporary fiction. So take it away, Kirstin.
Okay, so I am going to start in the middle of the book where Alex has already gone into her video game and she is with her traveling companion, Arrow, and they are about to enter the evil Baron's estate. From a distance, the illusion of the game continued. As a tiny speck on the horizon, the manor hardly presented a threat. Even as it grew to the size of my palm, I felt in control. It wasn't until we reached the bottom of the hill, hiding behind the bridge's stone pillars, that the pit in my stomach opened. A sensation of nausea, exponentially worse than how I felt before every art contest, crept up my throat. I had to move. Experience taught me not to let it linger. I cracked my knuckles and tucked my ponytail under the edge of my hat. It was time to play the game. The manor was close enough for now to see it in detail. Shadows blended into the stones, creating a wall of varying shades of gray. Charcoal stained the walls were distinguished. Even the Merrick's crest, a black stallion, melted into nothingness. The manor stood several stories high. On each level, torches created a beam of light across the base of the hills, briefly illuminating the multitude of guards defending the estate. The only sign of our small triangles of our wet footprints slowly faded away. At the threshold of the door, I paused, my hands scraping the rough stone. Arrow's eyes remained alert, watching for my signal. "Are you ready?" I asked, cursing the slight warble in my voice. "As ready as I'll ever be. I won't leave your side," he said, tightening the buckles on his vest one last time. "That's what I'm counting on," I said, offering a warm smile. "And I'm counting on you." No pressure. "Arrow, there's one thing you should know," I said. "I have a good idea of some of the dangers we'll face in there. I'm not afraid, but if it comes down to it, I'm not sure I can kill." There was a long silence. "You may not have a choice." The sadness in his voice caught my attention, and when I looked back, his eyes had hardened with their familiar guarded expression. How many choices had been taken from him? I frowned and turned back to the manor. That discussion would have to wait until we were safe. The cold black handle of the door chilled my hand. A loud click sounded as I leaned my weight against the handle. It didn't budge. This would not be the stealthy entrance I had hoped for. Arrow hissed at me and nodded toward the end of the path. I followed his gaze and saw a dark mass flutter in and out of a window. I ran to the window, carefully peeking around the curtains. No guards, light, or loud clicking noises from the door to alert anyone. My heart leapt. There was still a chance we could miss some of the threats. With my dagger in one hand, I straddled the windowsill before dropping into the room. Behind me, Arrow followed. It was too late to change my mind now. We were committed. The room echoed with silence. I rolled my fingers over my palm and activated the luminance powder. Through the dim light, cold, hard grimaces peeked through the shadows. "We're in the statue room," I whispered, walking tentatively forward. I shook my palm, loosening the powder to create a broader light. My breath caught in my chest. Marble statues stared at us from around the room. Each was carved with great skill, showcasing details down to the razor edges of the swords. I walked silently past the figures at first, but the artist in me couldn't resist them. A thick layer of dust collected along each bust. It was a shame that no one enjoyed or took care of this art. No wonder they hadn't noticed the window was open. I blew off the dust, apologizing as Arrow sneezed. "Is there something in there?" Arrow's question brought me back to the present. "No, sorry, I was just looking at the statues. So much underappreciated beauty. Who are all these people?" He clenched his jaw. "They're the new ruling class, Burgos and his minions. Let's go." "I'm sorry, I didn't know." "Now you do. Where do we go from here?" He stepped in front of me and a flash of red caught my eye. "No!" I yelled, pulling him back towards me as an explosion shook the room. Chunks of marble hit my legs as we rolled away from the statues underneath the window. Dust covered us, making it hard to breathe. Over statues, breaking some in pieces on the hard surface. Not exactly the stealthy entrance I had been hoping for. Every guard had now been informed of our intrusion, long until they arrived. I stood slowly, yanking a chunk of marble from my thigh. Blood soaked the upper edge of my leggings. The rest hung together in tattered shreds. I bit down on my dagger and tied my belt around my leg. I hated blood. "Arrow," I said, shaking his still body, curled underneath. "We have to go." He stirred with protest and rested his head in his hands. A trail of blood rolled down the side of his head, clearing a path through the layer of dust. His dark eyes stood out on his pale face as he looked me over. Are you hurt? How did you know? No, the explosion missed me. Don't forget, I know this place, I reassured him, hoping to calm the fear in his eyes. The statue's eyes flashed before it blew. I'm just glad I saw it in time. He coughed and bit his ribs. Look, Arrow, this is your last need to do this. We can jump back out that window like we were never here, I said, seeing the pain on his face. We're not going back. And you'll just have to read more to see them continue the adventure of saving the queen, taking down the evil empire for Alex to get home.
That's awesome. That's awesome. No, I love that. I love the section you read because it certainly leaves us wanting more, right?
That's the goal.
Yes.
Don't you just hate it when you finish an awesome book but none of your friends have read it and you have no one to talk to about it? Head on over to Goodreads, the largest online book community, and join the Modern Goodreads group, a home for readers and authors alike. Readers will find discussion groups for every genre, from children's to thriller and everything in between, where you'll find folks eager to discuss the minutiae of your just read novel. You'll also find a selection of over 100 read for review books and listings for free and discounted books. For authors and publishers, you'll find discussions of hot topics to engage in and get knowledgeable answers. Whether you've read a great book, written a great book, or are just looking for suggestions for your next great read, the welcoming discussion groups at Modern Goodreads have the quaint feeling of a book club, but are big enough to offer a wide range of topics. The recommendation links are buzzing with new reads, hot reads, and unforgettable stories. Join us today over on Goodreads under the Groups section. Modern Goodreads. We can't wait to discuss books with you.
Last episode, Leah London posed a trivia question. If you would, refresh our memories what it was and then tell us what the answer is.
The question was, who is the lead character, the protagonist in Lloyd Alexander's The Chronicles of Prydain series? And there are several books in the series, and one of them even has his name in the title. His name is Taran. And in book 4, it's called Taran Wanderer. This is actually secretly my favorite of all of the books. We learn a lot about him. He's awesome. Taran is the boy.
You have a trivia question for us. What is that?
Okay, well, as you read in my bio there, I am a forest management major from Oregon State, so naturally I wanted to pick something to do with the outdoors. I had to combine them. So my trivia question for you: what was the name of the main Ent in Lord of the Rings?
Ooh, that's a good one. I don't think I have that one quite on the top of my head. Okay. All right, well, you know what? So Kirstin will reveal the answer to this trivia challenge in our next episode. So be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you don't miss out. Any final thoughts you'd like to leave with our listeners?
You know, one of the greatest things that I do is connecting with readers and fans. So I'm just excited to be here, meeting all of you new viewers out there today. And I hope to connect with you, via Facebook, Twitter, here with Book Nerd, any of these places.
So I hope you've enjoyed getting to know Kirstin a little bit. She has a number of projects in the works, which include a dystopian thriller that continues the story of Simone from the Ivory Tower. The anticipated release for that is November 2015. Also coming is Initiation, Book 1 of the Sky Raiders series. That's a middle grade fantasy adventure for boys, 9 to 12. She's also working on Burning Dahlia, and that's a historical romance set in the time of the witch trials. And finally, if that's not enough, she's working on already. She's got Fallen Fables and Twisted Tales. It's a glimpse at the darker side. What happened to those who weren't the heroes when happily ever afters are not guaranteed. Links to check out all her books are in the notes below. I encourage you to subscribe to her email list to be notified when these projects release. You can do so at kirstinpulioff.com. I'm LRW Lee, author of the Andy Smithson Epic Fantasy Adventure Series. The ebook of Book 1 Blast of the Dragon's Fury is available for free, so be sure to follow the link below to download your copy. Our guest for the next episode will be fantasy author A.R. Cook, so be sure to tune in for that. Thanks so much for watching.